P.
I just fucked a cup of water. I did. Pusha P, red bandana Cardinals. I'm a P, you ain't your whole endorsement. She ain't vanilla for me, she simply porcelain. I never saw ops, now we finally touched. She ready to get in the streets for me, no question. Too rich to text, I let my shoulder forward it. Take the P at the alphabets, nigga try to sort it. I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P,
Pusha P.
I'm pushing P, P,
Pusha P.
I'm pushing P,
Pusha P.
I'm pushing P,
Yeah.
Pusha P, yeah, Pusha P, turn me up, P, Pointers in the paddock in my piece, I'm Pusha P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.
Got a spot across the spot, just for peace.
Drop the data, now we plotting exotic peas. She not a lesbian for peace, she turned lesbian. Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P. On capital P, I write these presidents, count presidents.
Pusha P. Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P.
She let me squeeze and she leave, cause she keep a P.
Private suite, privacy, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Purple paint, pussy pink, bitch, I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Yeah. Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Yeah.
I pop a P, I'm paranoid. I can't sleep with pockets deep. Got rest on me, why they watching me? I'm Pusha P. I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Yeah.
Okay, bought a P, not a pill of Porsche. Pusha P. 3 P's, popcorn, Porsche.
Pusha P.
I just fucked a cup of water. I did. Pusha P, red bandana Cardinals. I'm a P, you ain't your whole endorsement. She ain't vanilla for me, she simply porcelain. I never saw ops, now we finally touched. She ready to get in the streets for me, no question. Too rich to text, I let my shoulder forward it. Take the P at the alphabets, nigga try to sort it. I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P,
Pusha P.
I'm pushing P, P,
Pusha P.
I'm pushing P,
Pusha P.
I'm pushing P.
Yeah.
Pusha P, yeah, Pusha P, turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock in my piece, I'm Pusha P.
Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace.
Got a spot across the spot, just for peace.
Drop the data, now we plotting exotic peas. She not a lesbian for peace, she turned lesbian. Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P. On capital P, I write these presidents, count presidents.
Pusha P. Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P.
She let me squeeze and she leave, cause she keep a P.
Private suite, privacy, bitch, I'm pushing P.
Purple paint, pussy pink, bitch, I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Yeah. Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Yeah.
I pop a P, I'm paranoid. I can't sleep with pockets deep. Got rest on me, why they watching me? I'm Pusha P. I'm Pusha P.
Pusha P.
I'm Pusha P.
Yeah.
Okay, bought a P, not a pill of Porsche. Pusha P. 3 P's, popcorn, Porsche.
Pusha P.
I just fucked a cup of water. I did. Pusha P, red bandana Cardinals. I'm a P, you ain't your whole endorsement. She ain't vanilla for me, she simply porcelain. I never saw ops, now we finally touched. She ready to get in the streets for me, no question. Too rich to text, I let my shoulder forward it. Take the P at the alphabets, nigga try to sort it. I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P, I'm pushing P. peas.
Drop the data, now we plotting exotic peas. She not a lesbian for peace, she turned lesbian. Push P,
I'm Pusha P. I'm capital P, I write the president, count president.
Push a P. Yeah, push a P. Turn me up. Turn me up, P. Pointers in the paddock, get my piece. I'm push a P. Cop new hammers for my P. We don't want no peace. Got a spot across the spot, just for peace. Drop the data, now we plotting exotic peas. She not a lesbian for peace, she turned lesbian. Push a P. I'm push a P. I'm capital P, I write these president, count presidents. Push a P. Portuguese on her knees, mopping down a P. She let me.
Welcome to MSR 38 draft night. Different draft than we've been used to, but I got my man Payne here. Payne's gonna help me out. Payne, man, how you doing, bro?
Yes, sir. We are sitting so uncomfortably close to each other right now, but I'm very excited to get into this draft. This is some of our favorite parts of the season. Yeah, it's a little bit different this year, but it's the same cast of characters, and we're still going to come find these studs out here in this first round.
Yes, absolutely gonna find some of these studs. Look, you got your Excel sheet. This is our draft central today. No in-game stuff. We have an offline draft. Everybody who's in the league is kind of aware of what's going on. We're all kind of not sure how it's really gonna be done and how it's really gonna work in terms of how well it's gonna work, of course, because EA is just doing their marvelous thing this year. But you know what? We're still gonna do this draft, and we're gonna do this first round for you guys tonight. Show you what's going on. We had the Excel sheet here that'll be updated as Hoff gives out the picks and DMs the appropriate people when it's their turn. But you can see this order right here. You can see some of these players that are available here through this beautiful Excel sheet that the staff has presented us with. So we're gonna be feeding off of that 3-minute timer for the first round per pick. So keep that in mind. A little bit longer, a little extra minute, I believe you have than a normal time in game, but. Hey, man, how you feel about the draft? You're sitting here at 3, so we can start talking about some of this top 5, some of this top 10, how much of an impact it's going to have, because we're at least going to be able to see how this draft falls. We're not going to see what everybody's going to look like, but we kind of have an idea of who these top guys are.
Yeah, so the story earlier in this season really started to feel like who is going to really win the lottery and take these top 3, top 4 quarterbacks, and I thought it would be all the good quarterbacks gone by pick 7 or 8. But now, with all the craziness of the offseason with clutches and loaded trades, swapping quarterbacks and picks, and those picks got flipped for other picks. We saw Samoan and Muck flipping picks, and now here I am sitting at 3. It's going to be very interesting, and I think we know where Samoan's locked in at going. I think he's going to go Nathan McCoy and this really speedy quarterback, but Kolb has a chance to really determine how the rest of this draft is going to go, because if he takes Frank Logan, the quarterback, I know he hasn't really talked him up much, but it could be a smokescreen.
Yeah, that's where this draft is really going to start. We always talk about it in real life, where is this draft going to start? Where are we going to see how things are going to shape out and who's going to go where? It's going to start at pick 2. And it's going to start with Kolb's pick. Like you said, is he going to take the quarterback? I don't know. He did go out and got Jimmy Garoppolo, so he does have his Niners quarterback. In there. So we did just get word we are going to officially start this draft.
Let's go.
Samoan, and that number 1 pick is on the clock. You see the timer up there. Oh, if I can point with the mirror, there we go. Yeah, up there. You see at the top of your screen there. 3 minutes. He is officially on the clock. We are awaiting pick number 1. Man, we all kind of know where this is going, but it's still kind of cool to feel out and officially see who the next quarterback of the Raiders is going to be.
And of course, we won't know exactly how these prospects will turn out in game until we actually sim it in the next day or two. But man, you still just have to expect these guys are touted this highly at this point in the game. And we just had the private workout. So a lot of these guys are going to be 100% scouted. It's going to be very exciting to see how these prospects actually turn out.
Absolutely going to be very exciting. Still waiting here. But anyway, going to this top 5, man, because if you said, all right, Frank, if Logan doesn't get picked by Minnesota, which Kolb has passed on quarterbacks at the top of these drafts before, I would not be surprised. Logan is a lock to go to Seattle. I mean, what do you think? You got your eyes set on him if he's there?
I think because of the fact that it's 3 overall, I would be doing myself a disservice by not taking the quarterback that high. I know we are paying Ryan Tannehill a lot of money for this one season, but I kind of had it as more of an insurance policy, similar to what Cole was doing with Jimmy Garoppolo. But we're gonna have to see. I've got my eyes on some cornerbacks that I really like, but it may be too high to take them.
Yeah, that's it's interesting that you went real quickly. It's interesting that when you got a Titans quarterback there and paid him so much money to be your quarterback in Seattle as a Colts fan. But you did need a quarterback. It was an area you need. The turnstile was as big as it's ever been for you in the quarterback room as a user this cycle. But that is kind of where this 1-2-3 pick is going to set forth a chain reaction, because then after that, Arizona, I mean, he's not going to go to quarterback, but then it's like, okay, he might have a completely different player available. He can really just go the best non-quarterback available potentially here at number 4. But if not, then like if Logan doesn't go to Minnesota, or if he does go to Minnesota rather, pick 3, I mean, it's anybody's guess. You have a lot of needs there. I've heard you tease about offensive line. I think that's bullcrap. I think some of these speedy talent guys are still going to be there. You have your pick of the litter.
Yeah.
Give me just a little bit of insight of where you go at 3 if that quarterback goes at 2.
If quarterback goes at 2, there's a couple of cornerback prospects I really like. Jonathan Callaway, I think, just with his size at 6'3", 191, while being almost as fast as Robert Dane, who was at one of the speedier, more highly touted prospects than Callaway. I think Callaway is the best corner in this draft. So I'd be curious. It's very interesting because Kolb's been talking up Dane, and I have Dane ranked 5th for all cornerbacks right now.
So we're still waiting word on this pick. I would like to not start off with the sim pick, because I know he probably wants to go a certain spot here, but we don't want to just pick for him. So I'll see what Hoff says. But the timer is done, so we are waiting for this pick to be in. Simone, you're a bum for not being ready at 7 o'clock, or DM him at least, because you should have known what your pick was days ago. But here we are. Anyway, it gives us some more time to talk a little bit about some of these picks after. So let's just say, Logan's definitely going in the top 3, right?
Yeah.
After that, it's really an open book. You have Arizona, you have Minnesota up against, you see it on your screen, Indianapolis, Houston, let's see, Giants, Miami, and then the Patriots round out that top 10. There's a couple of teams, Minnesota has 2 picks there, and there's a couple of these guys who are kind of building up that roster. Where do you see being like the next big position reach? Where do you think the position group is going to go first? What is it going to be? Wide receivers that kind of go first in this top 10, cornerbacks, a mix, defense. It's kind of an interesting Madden for that. There's not really a clear cut, most obvious kind of choice here in the top 10 anymore.
Right. And I think with our league, it's going to be fully dependent on the users that are picking. Because I think if you get your slip toms, your number ones, guys that really like to value speed in their offense, this is a very fast wide receiver draft class. We were talking about that before we went live. And I think we will start to see those guys go. It's a deep class, but I think people aren't going to want to pass up on those weapons. And then I think our more balanced users, we may see a lot more edge rushers, your outside linebackers, which are pretty deep. Your 4-3 edge rushers aren't really great, but I think you can transition those outside linebackers if you needed to.
Ooh, and the pick is in, so we're going to start the timer again. It is going to be Nathan McCoy going to the Las Vegas Raiders there. New regime, new order. Carr is out. McCoy is in. What are your thoughts on it?
This is the perfect kind of pick for Samoan, right? We saw what he did last cycle with Malik Willis. It was very much, he brought the college offense to MSR, and then it worked. He was so effective in the short game, mixing in his versatile, quick quarterback, and he's bringing in another guy, McCoy. I'm very excited to see what his stats are going to be, because he's going to be looking at speed first. I can guarantee that.
Yeah, and in the playbook draft, he did go out and grab the Baltimore playbook. And, with that, we all kind of know what that means. You're going to use that fast quarterback. You're going to use that option game. He's talked about it before in length almost, that he's going to be using that to his advantage going into this season. So it's going to be an interesting, to see how he's going to do with that. There's a couple of young guys he's got over there to develop. He's still got Devontae Adams, who's going to be able to help, kind of lead the way for McCoy. But having said that, we do have pick 2. I know you're anxiously awaiting this, Cole. It should be
Yes.
posted here in the next 15 to 20 seconds or so. But the pick is in. Are you ready for this?
I am.
You
gotta
look
break it to me.
nervous. Are you ready? Are you sure?
I'm a little nervous.
At pick 2, the Minnesota Vikings select Frank Logan, the quarterback. Oh, look at him. Look at his face.
Yeah,
Yes,
tough.
sir.
That's tough.
It's going to be
That's tough.
Ryan Tannehill time in Seattle, depending on how this pick goes. 2 quarterbacks in the top 2.
Yeah, I said it earlier in chat. I accounted for this happening, so I definitely sort of weighted my expectations here. But I don't know. This is going to be very tough now. I've got 2 positions I'm really looking at, 2 prospects.
Yeah, I mean,
Man,
you're
oh,
officially on
man.
the clock. Let me reset this timer for you. I guess you get a little bit extra time here. Officially on the clock now. Pick 3, man. I'm gonna get you focused on that. I know it's a big pick for your franchise, but I'll just talk over you here and where I think you should go. I know you've talked about that right guard. I know you've talked about I know you talked about that corner, but I know you. I think you're pulling smoke screens all over the place. You're going somewhere else completely different. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a quarterback I'm missing here completely that I don't know about, because I obviously didn't scout quarterbacks with the MVP on my roster, but I could see wide receiver too. I know you got Lockett. I know you got Metcalf, but not much else after that. There's some really fast guys, a couple of guys in the 4.2s in this draft. A couple of them, which is, there is a decent. It's not just like 1 or 2. There is a decent amount of really fast guys at the wide receiver position and corner position as well, but more so the wide receiver position. There's a couple of edge rushers I've seen out there with some speed. Not sure how much of an extreme need that is for you right now, but I could see you going anywhere else besides right guard and cornerback.
Should I send it to Hoff, or should I just tell you?
That's up. If you want to announce it, you announce it, bro. You want to
Well,
announce it, you can announce it.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this, Kylo, with number 3 overall, we're going to stick to our guns. It's a weak cornerback room. We're going to take Jonathan Callaway out of Stanford.
Oh, Jonathan
And we are going to
Callaway.
try and rebuild the Legion of Boom. We already got the Seattle Assassins with our linebacking core. Now we got to get that secondary looking right. And I think Callaway is an easy way to start that.
There you have it. Jonathan Callaway is going off the board, the first non-quarterback, and it's going to be a cornerback in Jonathan Callaway out of Stanford. I like this pick a lot. We talked about it a little bit before the draft. Everybody was kind of saying that number 1 corner that's on the board there, Robert Dane, he was kind of the guy, but he's got the speed, maybe a little bit quicker, but he's 5'9". And the Legion of Boom, you want somebody opposite of Woolen there, Tariq Woolen, who's going to be able to have that kind of length to be your number 1 guy. Let Woolen kind of develop a little bit more and see what you do from there. I like that pick for you. A little surprised you went in. I really thought you were going to do something crazy and go like freaking tight end or something. But
Dude, Lacey's a beast, though. Can we talk about him for a second?
No, we're not.
Because I think
we're not going to talk about Lacey.
dude, I need somebody to reach on Lacey. I just think he's going to be a goon in this Madden cycle.
Interesting. So our next pick is off the board. I'm gonna give you a couple of seconds. Let me get your prediction. Where do you think Bear goes here? Because this is kind of gonna set forth a chain reaction after that.
All right, so Bear didn't let me get much of any hints when we were labbing earlier today. He had himself mocked at Max Bird, but he did tell me that was a smokescreen. He's not going Max Bird. I think he does try to go after one of these pass rushers potentially. It is one of the weaker parts of his defense. I think guys were talking about Devontae Jackson, outside linebacker. He agreed that both of the left ends and right ends are kind of weak. Okay. But I don't know, man.
Well, you're pretty close. At number 4 overall, it's going to be, as you see on your screen, Richard Melton, the outside linebacker.
Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that makes sense. Melton and Devontae Jackson, I feel like, were slightly better than Max Bird. But I do like Melton's size as well. 6'3", 242. UVA kid, hoping to make an instant impact for a struggling Arizona defense.
Yeah, UVA kid, and they're really it's a position of need. They have a couple of them. That Cardinals roster is not, we kind of got accustomed to in the past couple Maddens. There's a lot of holes. There's wide receiver holes. There's edge rushing, mishaps. There's no really interior D lineman, O lineman. They got problems everywhere. Cornerbacks are really weak. So to go out and grab an edge rusher, that's really going to set forth and anchor this defense going forward. Next pick is in. With Kolb at number 5, any predictions, anything, any insight you might have to this one?
I'm not sure. He does need a cornerback. I don't think that was part of his smokescreen to take Frank Logan. But now does he actually go for a guy like Dane, or does he try to take a chance on one of these guys like Nails or Crutchfield?
And it looks like he has selected Robert Dane. The number 1 touted cornerback coming into this draft goes at number 5.
I think he's almost guaranteed to have a dev here. I'm just not a fan of his size, but I think depending on what other cornerbacks Kolb has to complement this guy out of Buffalo, I think he can set himself up to have a good secondary.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there definitely is a position of need for him. Quarterback, cornerback, both really big position needs. And there really wasn't. What's crazy about this Vikings roster? There's not a ton of needs outside of that. So if he's able to have Dane come in there and be a force, early on, then I think he's gonna, maybe make a little bit of noise there in the NFC North. But speaking about Dane's size, we all saw the Super Bowl, and Avonte Maddox at the end there, one-on-one versus T. Higgins, was kind of getting bodied a little bit. And Maddox is a good corner. Not great, but solid. Not where you would expect that kind of performance from him. But he is also 5'9", so something to keep an eye on for Dane in his rookie season. But pick 6, Indianapolis Colts. Another team with a lot of needs here. Any insight as to where your Colts go, man?
I talked to Tiller a lot over the past couple of days as well. I know we kind of looked through a lot of different position groups. I did talk up this middle linebacker, Michael Ridgeway, who I think would fit perfectly into his defense. He's going to be the coverage linebacker of this class, and I think it wouldn't be a reach to take him this high. I just don't think the other linebackers really stand up to Michael Ridgeway's talent.
Ooh, well, the pick is in. I won't delay it too long again here, but definitely had a position of need for him, but a surprise that it's picked this early. With the number 6 overall pick in the draft, the Indianapolis Colts are going to select left tackle Nathan Carradine.
Yes, Tiller talked a lot about Carradine over the past day or so as well, and I don't know. We kind of had that conversation together when I was talking about that right guard I liked. It was like, is it too high of a pick to take an offensive lineman? But I think that does help him a lot, especially since he got Baker Mayfield signed on to Indianapolis. Yeah. So he's going to need all the help he can get.
Yeah, and I think the key here is that I thought he kind of should have gone wide receiver, just because of the speed that's out there, and it's something they kind of lack over there in Indianapolis. However, they did go out with that Buckner trade. They got CeeDee Lamb. So wide receiver isn't the hugest need anymore, but what is definitely a huge need was that left tackle position. So I like the pick. I think he could have waited on taking a tackle here.
I think so too, but it just depends on when his next pick was. At what point in this draft do people start taking offensive linemen? Yeah. Like somebody's got to start it. Why not be Tiller?
Yeah. And if he's got him scouted, and he's a high overall kind of guy who can come in and contribute day one, I don't hate it. That's something that was a huge problem for them last year. The tackle play was atrocious. Matt Ryan was atrocious on top of it. But to have a guy over there to help Baker Mayfield out, Baker Mayfield's a decent quarterback when you give him some time in the pocket. So hopefully that can kind of stabilize things on the offensive side of the ball and keep those turnovers down. Pick 7, Houston Texans and Red. Another team with a lot of needs. Where do you think they go?
I think we could see another offensive lineman off the board. I know that is a big need for this Texan squad, but they have a lot of other needs as well. Maybe another pass rusher goes off the board. I know that Houston defense wasn't terrible last season, so he might try to shore up one of his defensive positions. I'm interested to see myself.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna be corner. He does have Stingley over there. The rookie that was drafted in real life by the Texans. I think they have another safety they drafted too that played well for Red. But there definitely needs some edge rushing from pass rush for sure. There's nothing really there to work with. As Hoff is going crazy. I think he just messed up the whole thing. Okay. Hoff, can you fix that, please? What the hell is that? I bet it's Bear. Look, he's still... What is that? All right. Thank you, Hoff. You bum. As we have 40 seconds to go here, Big Red probably out on the road. We'll see if we can get his pick in. We actually ended up a little bit of insight. We had to select for Samoan. Hopefully he wants McCoy, but we think he does. Okay, so the pick is in for Red. I think this might be the first time in MSR history that we've had this in the first round. It's going to be the left guard, Kentrell Grubbs, that's going to be headed to the Houston Texans.
Man, Grubbs that high is very interesting.
A reach?
I don't know, man. Yeah, I don't know if it's a reach because I think Grubbs is the best left guard. I just don't think he's the best guard in this class. I've been so high on Claiborne and Farrell over Grubbs. That's just me.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was looking at too. And the left guard was weak, not bad, but the right guard is definitely better, definitely more of a top 10 pick worthy. It's also like, do you really believe that guards are worth a top 10 pick at all? Personally, I do not.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a lot of other needs. Now, if that's his only need, sure. But the Texans have a lot of needs there, so we'll have to see. Hopefully, Grubbs works out for him and is kind of high overall, high dev kind of guy and kind of balances that out. But if he's not, that might be a pretty big reach, especially with wide receiver being a little bit of a need for him. There's still all those fast guys on the board.
I like to a certain point, I respect it. And like all of our super sim guys in the chat, I can see their admiration. But I don't know. Unless one of these guys I just find is like a top 5 talent, I just don't know about taking them that high. I almost understand it more for Tiller than I do for Red.
Yeah. Again, though, it's a different position. Tackle is a lot harder to come by, especially in this Madden too. It's a lot more important than a guard. Guard, you can kind of mitigate and work around having it not be a position of premium. Oh, he did say in the chat he's going to be center. That's kind of even worse for me. I don't know if you spend that much on a center necessarily. Still an interior
guard that you're converting to center. That's interesting.
A 7 overall pick on. I just think there's other positions that are more valuable in Madden and in real life. I don't know if any team is really going to be taking an interior offensive lineman that high. Well, hopefully it works out for him, but we do have another pick on the clock. It's the Giants. Diesel coming in. He worked the draft really, really well, I thought, at least with these picks, but you got to convert that into good players as well because he's got a lot of holes.
He does, and I think he has the freedom here to kind of go anywhere. And I think we could find a way to spin it into sounding good because I think this team is young in a lot of positions and it'll have a lot of developable pieces. But I don't know. I could see him going anywhere. Maybe you get another pass rusher. I know they just have Kayvon.
I will be absolutely shocked if it's not a wide receiver. I mean, I don't know how many times I keep saying it. These guys are fast, man. I know speed isn't as crazy as it was in past Maddens, but it's still pretty darn important. I mean, you saw how guys like Quez Watkins and you saw how YK was able to make somebody who's irrelevant in the league, Devon Allen, actually somewhat relevant and could at least contribute for him just solely because of speed. So let's see where he goes. So the pick is in. He's going to get down to the wire. He's going to pick defensive tackle Owen Bradshaw.
Nice. See, and that makes sense to me. It's another pass rusher. I think Bradshaw is the best defensive tackle on the board. However, he's not my favorite prospect out of these nose tackles.
Not the most electric nose tackle prospect I've seen. But definitely a position of need. He needs pass rushers. And he has, Ojulari. He has Kayvon Thibodeau still over there. So it's not like he needed like an edge guy, but he definitely needed some interior help because he definitely, got ran on a lot and things like that.
Doesn't that just feel like a Giants pick, though?
I was just going to say that. It feels like a Lawrence pick 2.0. Like, yeah, he'll be fine. Like, yeah, he'll be all right. But
this is not flashy.
It's not flashy. It's not going to shake the leads. He's not going to be that impact guy for you. And that's what you're really looking for in this top, anywhere in this draft, obviously, but especially in this top 10 range. You're looking for that impact player. So hopefully, again, like these other guys, it'll work out. But some interesting picks here in this top 8 range. Number 9 on the board, Dolphins missed out on the playoffs. We're very close. Tua's still there. Still got those wide receivers. Where do you think they go?
I feel like that offense is fine, but I feel like some of these cornerbacks are getting a little old. I feel like some of the secondary could use a little help. I don't know. I feel like, was Miami super active in free agency? I don't feel like it.
Not very. They don't have a ton of cap to work with to be super active. But the pick is in. It's going to be right outside linebacker Max Bird.
Okay. Yeah. The pass rush. So I think he did let Ingram go, if I remember correctly.
I think he re-signed him. He let him go. He was in free agency, but I think he brought him
and then
back.
He got him back.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's still going to have that veteran presence there, and now he's got Max Bird, who is one of the best outside linebacker prospects. It's going to be very interesting to see. I imagine he's going to be a day one starter, so see what kind of impact he has.
Yeah, definitely a position. That's what interested me though, because you still have Phillips over there. You still have Jalen Phillips. You still have some guys who can develop for you, and Melvin Ingram now. This guy, he definitely is a pass rusher. Right? He's not like he's not a pass coverage kind of guy. That was a question.
What happened?
Is Max Bird a pass coverage guy?
Yes. Sorry, he is a pass rusher. He's not a coverage guy.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, that's why I'm a little surprised. He has edge rushers there that he can develop, but if Max Bird is that guy, he's that impact player kind of guy, I don't hate it. Obviously, edge rushing is a huge asset to have in this Madden. But on the pick 10, rounding out this top 10, we got the New England Patriots and loaded, who move around a lot. Ended up getting Zach Wilson as a quarterback smartly, because these quarterbacks have already gone 1 and 2. So where do you see him going here?
Man, it would be nice to see one of those. I think the first BPA pick. I think this would be a good position to take it, because there's so many good guys left, and I don't know which need to really go after if I'm him.
Well, he's going after one for sure, and one I'm surprised lasted this long to take for some of these teams ahead of him. But he's going to go and take the first wide receiver off the board, Quentin Little, with the fastest 40 time, I believe, right?
Yep. Yeah, Little. I actually made a video on him earlier in the season.
Right.
I think I called him a slot god. I think this guy is going to be such a goon. He's going to be able to get that separation. He's going to have that breakneck speed that you need to have that sort of impact, being a little bit undersized.
Yeah, a little undersized. I think he's 5'9". Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he's around that range.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, 5'9". Definitely undersized, but we've seen other guys who are undersized. Tyreek Hill be that kind of guy who can stretch a defense and make those plays still in the air. Catching was an issue for him coming into the draft. Didn't grade that well out there, from my understanding, for catching wise. Not something you can definitely get around, especially in Madden. If he has that speed, that breakaway speed, if he can run those 9 routes for him, he'll be very good. But I like that pick. I like Quentin Little going. I thought he was even going to go higher than this, honestly.
Yeah. Did Bryant get taken yet, the top receiver, or was Little the first receiver?
Little was the first receiver.
Gotcha. So yeah, Bryant and Hayes, I think, are going to be the other 2 top prospects here. I do like taking that chance on Little, though. I think that's very a pretty safe pick at the same time.
Yeah, and it looks like some people are talking about it in the chat. Little does have the drop passes trait, which, depending on your opinion on that, might be a factor for him. And he also does have D catching. So we'll see how that grades out. We'll see how that works for him. But on the pick 11 here, the Titans, a little bit of disappointing season for them. Malik Willis has gotten the nod to be the guy. No more Ryan Tannehill, 2-quarterback system. So it's going to be the Malik Willis show. A lot of needs here again, but where do you see them going?
I think we could see another receiver pick here. I think somebody like Cedric Hayes would be a perfect fit for a number 1 style offense. Again, a little bit undersized, 5'8", 188, but another guy who I think can be a physical, deep route runner. He's got B release and B catching, unlike Little.
Yeah. Size is definitely a factor this Madden, but not when you're that fast. So I think you might go ahead and get one of those fast guys. Definitely a position in need. He does take a wide receiver, but not who you're thinking. He's going to go ahead and take Nick Bryant.
Yeah, I think that's the best receiver in this group. Out of Florida. Yeah, a little bit better size, 6 foot 198, and he's got the playmaker archetype to kick him off. And I think he's a good fit for that front that number one attacks with.
Yeah, definitely. I think it'll be beneficial for him to have a guy like that. He's definitely in need of a wide receiver. Funny enough, he did mention earlier in the chat today that he wasn't going to take a wide receiver. That'd be crazy too. And now here we are. Good smoke screen, buddy. You got your guy to fall down. Hopefully.
Yeah, that we only saw one other receiver, and it was right before you.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I just like how deep this wide receiver class is. I think we'll see some really good ones fall into the second.
Yeah, I'm surprised that it was Nick Bryant that kind of went there, though. His 40 time, looking at it now, he had a 4.49, not breakaway kind of 40 time that you want to see from a guy who's only 6 foot, but 22, and he's got great route running out the box, according to his grades, so hopefully that bodes well for him. Maybe gets a dev to help him out. But the next pick is in, the second pick for the Houston Texans. It's going to be left end Josh Parker.
Yep, I think that's the best of the left end or right end group. Parker is 6'5", 288 out of Clemson. This guy just has that Jadeveon Clowney sort of intangibles that's going to make him look like he's going to be a beast off the edge.
Look at the Clowney comp from the Texans who pick him. That's crazy. I like it though, because he's more of a run stopper kind of guy. He's even touted as being a run stopper kind of archetype. A little bit on the older side though. 23 is like, he better be really good out the box. Again, he's really, Red's kind of putting all his money in the table, on the center of the table right now with some of these selections. Yeah. Definitely has got to be confident with these picks, because if they're not guys that devs are great, out the box kind of attributes, it is kind of going to be a rough draft on paper for him.
And another note for Parker, I mean, he's 288. That means you can also kick him inside. And I think Red will definitely utilize that, because with that big frame, he's going to be really good against the run.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point, actually. And maybe that's part of that selection, that versatility that he has at that size. However, though, if he's too fast, if he's above 83 speed, he won't really be able to do that as much. So something to keep an eye on to see how he grades out once we get these sims going. Next pick, Muck and these Washington Commanders. I don't think Muck even knows where he's going with this until he just sends in a name. So where do you think for him?
I'm surprised we got this deal worked out that got me up to 3, and I think it was that same position. I don't think Muck thought that Logan was going to fall to him, and I think that was really the only guy he really liked.
Yeah, ended up.
So, yeah, he trades back, and now you're in a position where, I mean, Washington's not perfect. He brought in a lot of help on the defensive side, but I'm curious to see where he goes. Do we see another offensive lineman come out and help Howell in year 2?
They still got listen, that's crazy. We still have those right guards on the board,
Yeah.
You still have Claiborne. So I'm not surprised if he goes somewhere like that. However, I do know that Muck loves his tight ends, and he talked about Lacy.
Oh,
Let's see.
Yes, dude.
Oh my God, I didn't even look at it. I swear to God, Hoff, I didn't look at it. That is exactly where he goes. He's gonna take tight end Braxton Lacy.
I completely forgot he was available, and as soon as you said his name, Muck just said something to me about him last night, and I was like, "Yeah, dude, that'd be such a good addition, especially when I think he still has Logan Thomas as well. So now you've got an ultimate tight end duo, though."
That is crazy. Good for him. Maybe let's hope he grades out to be a good. Well, I don't hope he grades out to be good, but Braxton Lacy coming in, he has a decent 44.66. Not that Pitts kind of style guy, but he's got great size, 6'3", 236. It's only 21 years old. A little bit of an underwhelming pro day, but he does have a draft story, so hopefully that helps him out a little bit. But definitely by far the best tight end on the board.
It wouldn't surprise me if he was superstar, not at all. Nope. And I think he's just, even if he's not, I think he's got enough potential for Muck to develop him himself.
And looks like our next pick is in. We are flying. I can't even get this timer going. We don't need it. Y'all killing it right now. With the 14th pick, it's going to see on your screen there, Jonathan Craig, the left outside linebacker. So 2 outside edge rushers for the Cardinals this draft.
Who the hell is Jonathan Craig?
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of guessed that was an edge rusher. Please help me here.
Oh, he was the next. Yeah, he was the next highest one behind Matthew Scott. I didn't look at the left outside linebackers too
Oh.
much myself,
Gotcha.
but yeah, he's a first round projection.
I
Him
see,
and Dan Roosevelt are the last left outside linebackers with that projection, but Greg goes off the board. Or, I'm sorry, Craig goes off the board.
He's 6'3", 254, 22 years old. I got him at C for a lot of these traits though. Hopefully that kind of helps him out a little bit because his 40 is not that great. 4.81, not going to be blazing past anybody. But hopefully he works out. Next pick is in. We're just rolling right along. It's going to be our third wide receiver, and it's going to go to Green Bay. It's going to be wide receiver Deion Shepard.
Wow, we see Shepard go before Hayes. That is very interesting. Another shorter receiver, but this guy is going to be a complement piece for Romeo Doubs, who B-Steiner has dubbed the truth. So hopefully Shepard can come in here and be a prophet for this Green Bay offense.
Yeah, speaking of Shepard, he kind of was my under the radar favorite wide receiver off this board for the early guys. He's 4.2, 640, still got that blazing speed. The route running leaves something to be desired. We'll get to that, but he's 5'11", 180, 22 years old. A, deep route running, spec catch and carry. B, release, catch in traffic. He's got D, short running, and F, mid route running. So
hey, it's the modern day Green Bay offense since Devontae Adams left. Who needs route running?
Yeah,
just run down there.
Run down there and let Aaron Rodgers fucking sling it in there. Why not? Why not? So, interesting top 15 here to close it out. We have Tampa Bay up next here at 16. No doubt it'll be no, actually there is doubt because he's not going to take somebody named Beaver because he's a bum and didn't do the last draft. But definitely some good guys still on the board I'm surprised about. You still got the right guard, Claiborne. You still got Matthew Scott there. Cedric Hayes, like you mentioned. A couple of these safeties are still good. But the pick is in. It's going to be another outside linebacker. This time, though, it's going to be Devontae Jackson going to Tampa Bay.
Devontae Jackson is probably my other favorite outside linebacker of this group. Out of Washington State, 6'2", 236. He's a little bit on the lighter side, at least as an edge rusher, but I think you could potentially swap him since he does have that run stopper archetype. He could be a coverage guy as well.
Yeah, definitely right. I think I had him scouted, and he was definitely in the top of that class right there, at least in talent wise. So I like that pick for him. I think he got a steal in Devontae Jackson there in the pick 16, depending on how you view kind of coverage guys, non-edge rushing linebackers. But to follow the 16, that's not bad. Next up, another NFC South member, the Carolina Panthers, had a decent season, not great, fell off, wasn't able to make the playoffs. Still have a lot of needs there. No quarterback. Baker Mayfield's not there. Where did he go with quarterback? Who's on his roster right now?
That is a great question. Yeah. What's going on in Carolina?
What's going on in Carolina? I have no idea who is quarterback. I just know Baker's
Matt Corral.
Matt Corral.
Corral.
You can work with Matt Corral.
Or you could take a chance on a Jeremy Roberts or a DeAndre Austin, the round 2 to 3 bums. I don't know.
Oh, he's calling them bums. He's got him scouted. I don't do it. They're bums, bro. They're bums. Will they take a flyer on one of these guys though? Lot to be picked here. Still have some needs over there. Offensive line still needs some help. Wide receivers could use some help. Tight end position in need. Edge rushers a little bit there opposite of Brian Burns. Linebackers could use help. There's help that could be had all over this place. Definitely not corner. I think he's set there. Let's see where he goes. We're winding down here. Halfway through this first round. It's going off somewhat smooth, so we'll see if we can kind of get this to working game for us. But so far, it's been a pretty interesting draft. So,
has Ridgeway gone off the board? I don't think so.
No,
no. That's crazy to me. He's probably my favorite prospect that's left at the moment. I'm curious to see who's going to take a chance on him. I just think if you're looking for a coverage linebacker, I even like Ridgeway over Devontae Jackson if that is the intention.
Ooh. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Devontae Jackson, I think he's still pretty good in coverage, but I think he's definitely more of a more of a run stopper kind of Darius Leonard type linebacker, if you will.
Right.
And Ridgeway,
I think those are tougher guys to develop at the linebacker position.
Absolutely. He's not going to get those interceptions as much, but still going to be able to get in there and make some runs and stop some runs and things like that. Still winding down here. Let's see. At Carolina, we got the Dolphins pick 18. Already have another selection earlier on. They picked Max Bird, as you see there. The Lions and Tyler pick 19. Bucks again at pick 20. Yours truly at pick 21. Pick from the Saints. So a lot left here. Still almost just at the halfway point of this draft. What is your biggest surprise pick so far as we kind of wind down this selection?
Biggest surprise pick? I'm not really sure. I've kind of liked everybody's draft so far. I don't feel like we've seen many reaches to this point. Yeah, I mean, I think back to the offensive lineman picks that were pretty high, but that's really, if you could ever come up with a criticism, I guess you could say that.
Yeah, I think my biggest surprise was still the Kentrell Grubbs pick.
Yeah,
I thought that was just too early, and he's going to be moving over to center as we have confirmation from the Houston staff. But we do have a pick in here. Let's see. Okay, so all the way to pick 17 is going to be Morgan Claiborne, who's going to go to the Carolina Panthers.
I love that pick for man. I really do, because you go get. I mean, the Panthers set you up this year with Ikem Ekwonu, which, by the way, before the Panthers drafted him, I drafted him in MSR. Yeah. So I just a psychic there. But now he goes and gets another monster on the line in Morgan Claiborne. That was the Florida State guy, right?
Yes,
I think so.
Yes, yep.
And I just think that offensive line immediately becomes pretty decent.
Absolutely. I mean, this offensive line kind of shapes its form a little bit to be that offensive line I think he really loves to play with. That is. So love to see him pick that right there. Still a couple of picks here going on. We're going very strong right now. Dolphins on the clock. Picked Max Bird earlier on. Any insight at all, do you think, of where they're going to go now?
I have no idea with EMC, man. It's gonna be something like flashy that we're not seeing here. Maybe it is a Cedric Hayes to get somebody to complement Tyreek and Jalen Waddle. Maybe it's a Malik Pace tight end. That's another underrated guy.
EMC loves.
Maybe he goes defense.
You know, there is something to be said here. EMC usually kind of goes out and either trades or develops his own one of these. But he doesn't have one on the roster right now. He doesn't have that number one elite running back that he's kind of used to. I don't have any of them scouted. I don't know how great they are. But you know what? It doesn't matter because the pick is in. Number 18
Where you going?
Overall, he's going to pick wide receiver Cedric Hayes.
Yeah, I like it. I think he really is going to complete that offense there for EMC, at least on the passing side. Who needs a running back when you have three absolute monsters? I mean, if he comes out in three wide all the time, he'll be set up.
You'll need to run the ball well if you can have all those weapons there. But now there is zero. Listen, EMC, I'm talking to you right now. There is zero excuse for Tua not to be over 30 interceptions. There's zero excuse.
Shoot, I think he could start throwing. I think he could throw those interceptions, and the receivers would still go up there and grab them.
Yeah, I mean, Cedric Hayes is I think he's 5'8". But you put him in the slot, you have guys that, Waddle and Hill on the outside, plenty of speed to stretch the defense, and then you have Hayes kind of just absolutely eat underneath. You can work any of them in gadget plays and screens, to touch passes. There's just so much you can do with three really fast guys like that. I'm interested to see how he does with them. Up next, Detroit Lions, Tyler. I think he still has Goff.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah, he still has Goff. Not much else outside of that.
Yeah. Well, he went up and he got Dak Prescott. I think that's a huge improvement to his offense.
I completely forgot about that trade.
But he still has Goff's contract on the books, which sucks. Right. Yeah. Maybe he gets some help for his new quarterback. He gets the last best receiver, I think, in this class, Johnny Morris out of Boise State. That could be potentially the route he takes. He had a lot of high-scoring games. Maybe he goes defense.
Well, he is going to go defense. It's going to be that guy you talked about, your favorite prospect so far, middle linebacker Michael Ridgeway.
Yep. I like that. I like that a lot for Tyler. Diesel is going to be very upset because he messaged me when I mentioned him before. He's like, stop talking about Ridgeway. Well, he goes to Detroit.
Yeah, you don't get him anyway. Let's go. Good pick there for the Lions.
Yeah,
Definitely position
I really
B.
like that.
Linebacker core is terrible for them. Wow, all right. Almost to the end here of this first round. Pick 20. Not a lot of needs for this Bucs team. They don't have that quarterback anymore. They don't have his favorite quarterback, if you want to say that, Tom Brady. Any kind of hint about where he's going here, man?
I don't know. So I think he had some interesting characters favorited earlier in the season because the other mocks had like some guys that were big reaches. I don't know. But with Taco, it's hard to guess, man. He could maybe he's trying to start a new trend with some wacky name.
Maybe.
We'll have to see.
Maybe. Here we go. Pick 20. Time is a ticking here. Just under 2 minutes left to go in this selection. A lot of options you could go here. Still, maybe I could see maybe an edge rusher. I don't know how many are still on the board here.
He did say Tyler took his guy in Michael Ridgeway.
Well, that's just Taco fucking whatever. He still got Devin White. Why would you go and get Ridgeway? Stop the cap, bro. Stop the cap. Let's see here. I don't know if there's any guys with any animal names. I know Taco loves those.
There's a guy named Chris Cheeks who I think is a potential unrestricted free agent.
That could be something. I don't know. I think that's not really anything you can do with that. Taco ain't about that. Not safe for work kind of vibe. So,
he lost one of his cornerbacks, right? Could he go Sergio Nails maybe?
Ooh, the pick is in. Who is he? I'm not familiar with. Oh, okay. So I think you talked a little about him. Johnny Morse, the wide receiver, is going to go to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, that's a very interesting pick. I don't know how his receivers are. I mean, he kept Godwin.
Mike Evans.
He did send Evans.
Evans is
so that's not bad.
Cincinnati.
Morse doesn't provide the same sort of receiver. And man, he's 175, 5'8". Potentially, I mean, probably for his own health, should be in the slot. But that's going to be an interesting prospect to watch coming in. I mean, he had his draft story about him earlier in the season too, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right on that one. So as we hit the end of the let's see. I'm sorry. I'm trying to pick my guy here, trying to pick my selection here. Let's see here. Couple guys I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Not a ton of needs here.
You don't need a running back anymore.
Definitely don't need a running back. I think we gotta go.
I don't know what you need.
I don't like taking. This kind of goes against my philosophy a little bit.
You taking a lineman?
I think I'm gonna go ahead and lock in this pick. We're gonna go Charles Farrell, the right guard.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
That's that's probably my next highest rated guard. And I think Farrell's going to be a beast as well. I think he's just a few steps under Claiborne, but 6'6", 330, that's a monster on the line.
Yeah, 6'6", 330. Sent away Landon Dickerson. I'm not big on the O-line matters a whole lot, but I just feel like it is a position that we kind of need. I think he kind of fell to this point to get to where he is midway through this end of this first round. A couple other guys I liked but didn't love and figured this might be the best place to go. So, Farrell's going to come over here. I love my Iowa lineman, 6'6". So we'll see. Hopefully he fits well with Kelsey.
They say one of the hardest things to do in the league is to run back a championship team, but maintaining the offensive line and protecting your quarterback's a good start. So I don't hate this pick at all.
Yeah, I mean, when you go ahead and get a guy like Joey Mixon over there, got to give him a little bit of help, especially in that interior, that O-line. It struggled a little bit throughout the season, even with Dickerson in there. So we went ahead and we got Jake Andrews, the left tackle, who's going to be playing left guard for us in his old age. A little on the slower end now to play on the outside there, moving him inside, take over Landon Dickerson's spot, and now Farrell will take over in that right guard spot. That's kind of been a position of turmoil for a while here in Philly. You
had some pretty low-key signings. I liked that Jake Matthews signing as well. I thought that was good.
Yeah, it was tough because like it was figuring out, where I knew Dickerson was probably gonna go, didn't know where though, and when, but we figured, it
Mhm.
wouldn't be the worst thing to get some O-line depth, so we went ahead and got him. Who else did we get? We got Melvin Gordon to be running back, running back 2. We got OJ Howard, mainly because
Yeah, that's big.
yeah, Jalen Hurts has that tight out ability, so it might be running some more 2 tight end sets with Mixon running the ball a little bit more. So some more things we can do with this offense. It's a completely different offense that I was expecting to see here. After the first season, wasn't expecting to make any moves. Ended up making a couple big moves. So we'll see how it plays out. On to pick 22 here. The Giants are back on the clock. I said they missed out on their middle linebacker they wanted. Anybody of interest you can see here going to the Giants?
Yeah. And I think you can still take a bet on another middle linebacker. I mean, you still have Nicholas Thomas out of Florida State and Dalton Kitchen out of Michigan State. Both of these guys, pretty similar prospects. It's funny, one's slightly taller than the other, but lighter than the other. But it's backwards. That's really funny. But I think both of these guys have the potential to be good coverage. Nicholas Thomas has B zone coverage, B tackle, and it's an A to C block shed. So you can send that man on blitzes too and be pretty comfortable with it.
Well, guess what, Payne? You're right. It's going to be Nicholas Thomas, the middle linebacker,
Bang,
going
bang.
to New York. Bang, bang is right. Listen, we're 2 for 2. We make our predictions here, man. We're 2 for 2.
I like it. And again, it's another Giants type pick. You just pick more defense, try to get these big body physical defenders and just play scrappy on defense. It's what they're doing in real life. And I think Diesel's doing a good job at playing sim.
Yeah, and I talked about it on A1's podcast last night with him. Some of these defenses in these bottom half kind of finishes teams were pretty astounding with the numbers they kind of gave up. And I think it was over 700 points against that the Giants gave up last season to that winless season. So I'm not surprised they go 2 defensive plays here in the first round. We'll see where they go from there. But on the clock now, pick 23, the Chargers, and Hoff is on the clock.
I'm trying to think about what Hoff lost in this offseason because I think he may be looking to replace. Not that I can think of.
He doesn't really have a running back. No
Eckler's gone. Does he take a running back here? He could.
No, he's not.
Could be the first one.
He's going to go – it's going to be back-to-back middle linebackers. He's going to take Kitchen. Dalton Kitchen is going to be a Los Angeles Charger.
Sure. I have no problem with Kitchen as a pick here. 6'1", 246. Another guy with B zone coverage, B block shed. So he may be a little bit more physical for you in like run blitzes and stuff like that. So maybe that's the kind of player that Hoff is looking for.
Yeah, definitely a position where they could use some help. Use a little bit of juice. But Muck is now back on the clock here. Pick 24. Oh, boy. Let's see here.
We still have a lot of these. We may be able to. There's still a lot of cornerbacks on the board. I know he brought some secondary guys over, but Sergio Nails is going to be a beast like we were talking about. I don't know if he needs any safety help, but I don't think we've seen any safeties taken off the board yet.
Listen, I think I was just going to say that there are some safeties here that I kind of liked. I didn't love them, but they're definitely some first-round talent type of safety still.
Mm-hmm.
Some guys I'm looking at here. Let's see. Luke Hill isn't bad.
Luke Hill's good.
Luke Hill looked like he could be pretty good. Let me pull up right here. I'm going to have to predict this, though. Hold on. Got to get his name. Yes, sir. Okay. I think he's probably going to go Daniel Gordon, the strong safety out of Notre Dame.
Sounds like a NASCAR driver. That's A, hit power. That looks good. C, zone coverage. You can upgrade that. He's D, man coverage, so you're probably not going to want him in the box anyways. But he's got good speed, solid jumping, elite strength, though. So that's good.
Yeah. I think that's a good pick for Muck if he goes there. Still just under a minute. He's probably still flipping a coin, tearing his hair out like he does. I can see him now. What the heck? Where do I pick top? I don't know. But the pick is in. He's going to go defense. He's going to pick cornerback Sergio Nails.
Yes, I like Nails, dude. And I think he is better than those safety prospects because I'm looking at him right now. B catching, B man coverage, B press. This guy is probably going to have a dev. This guy's speed is probably going to be pretty good. He's got elite acceleration as well. I think that's a very solid pick for Muck this late in the first round.
Yeah, I think that was the last of like the really true first round corners that are left on the board, and definitely a position where he could use a corner like that. Undersized, like you said, going to be having issues with some of those bigger guys, but he does have guys on the outside already, like Fuller and whatnot, who can be on those number one guys and lock them down a little bit. On to our next pick. Smooth is on the clock, taking over for the Chicago Bears, his own team. He finally lucks out and gets them, and he's going to select with the 25th overall pick, Matthew Scott.
Okay, that's the top left outside linebacker. I'm surprised he was still available here. Not as exciting as some of the other rushers. He is a speed rusher, though, and I'm a big fan of the speed rushers myself. But at 6'3", 250 at a USC, he should be a pretty solid day one starter.
Pulling up my cheat sheet here. I want to see what his 40 time is, because I think it's going to be a big thing. They don't really have a ton of speed, especially for the edge rush, to really get a ton with. But looking at his stats, he is 6'3", like you said, 21 years old, A to C throughout the board, but he does have a 4.69 40, which is still pretty good. Going to be fast enough to get the job done on the outside there for sure.
And with the first outside linebackers with vertical jump as well. It's an interesting note. So he's got the elite jumping so that he may be able to animate in maybe some ways closer to safeties than other linebackers.
I don't know about that, but maybe he can jump up and knock some stuff down at the line of scrimmage. I don't know.
Yeah.
I got to reset my timer. Tough. All right, Buffalo's on the clock. Probably got to get another 2 minutes left here for a slip in those Bills to select. This is one of those teams that are just kind of loaded everywhere. But I could see, I don't know how many wide receivers are still left on the board. I know there's still some fast guys out there. Don't know if they're first round kind of guys, but maybe a position they could reach on here.
I don't know if these receivers are the type that Slip Tom likes. I'm looking at 6'3", 210, 6'2", 208, 6'3", 210, 6'4", 234.
Nope.
Your next small guy is 5'11", 203 with Larry Chancellor.
Yikes. Yeah, I think he's one of those who likes the little speed guys. So I guess maybe not there. He doesn't need a running back. Obviously, doesn't need a quarterback. Safeties are getting a little old. Could see that. Corners are pretty set with White there and Elam. Maybe you could see something there. Could use another linebacker, but there's been a lot of linebackers that have gone off the board. Don't know if there's anybody that's really left to really take a flyer on. Could use maybe another edge to replace Von Miller, but instead he's going to take the second tackle that's going to be off the board here. He's going to take left tackle Conrad Burks.
Yep, and Burks is the second best tackle in this class, I believe. At a Texas A&M, 6'4", 320. He's going to be pretty good for you, and I don't know who the left tackle is now in Buffalo, but maybe if he's trying to take a chance at just getting a prospect that could be an upgrade, it's not going to hurt his team.
I want to say Deion Dawkins, but he's not a guy that, that really franchise left tackle kind of guy anyway. So definitely a position they need. I forgot they needed kind of some O-line there, so good pick for him. I know Slip does like his O-line. So next up, another guy who likes his O-line and his run game kind of stuff, DK. Now, he does have Drew Lock as the quarterback as of now. He did, kind of let me know, like, hey, he's just an insurance policy kind of guy, kind of like a Jimmy Garoppolo for the Vikings, and they went up and selected Frank Logan. Still have no clue where they would go here, though. They don't have any wide receivers anymore. CeeDee Lamb is gone. Don't really have anybody else outside of that. Maybe Gallup, but that's not a guy who's really your number one. He loves his speed. But there's not really any speed left. So if any, I just really don't know with this pick at all.
I don't have any insight as to where DK's mind is, but I'm just looking at quarterback Jeremy Roberts, who just sounds a little bit more exciting than Drew Lock for this season. Maybe it's a reach, but it's late in the first round. Maybe you take a chance on the quarterback out of Rutgers.
He's not. He is going to take a chance on a wide receiver. 6'3", 210, Lamar Edwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's going to pass up on Middleton and Rivers and take South Carolina University prospect Lamar Edwards. I mean, this guy's got C release, speed catching. Maybe a guy that he can develop.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of looking over his stats right now. Nothing crazy jumping off the board, but he's got a
decent
lead
40.
acceleration.
Yeah, you're right. Then me cut you off. Lead acceleration, 4.45 40. He's got B catching, C deep route running, C release, C short route, A medium route, and A spec catch. So maybe he's trying to get that big body receiver kind of vibe to help the running game out and still win those jump balls, kind of smash mouth kind of football. So hopefully that kind of helps Drew Lock a little bit out, because if he's gonna be the guy, little uneasy. I don't know if DK's had a guy like that for a while.
Yeah, but I think this is the year to do it, because those kind of wide receivers are a lot stronger than they have been, especially when we saw in this playoff run that was so covered. We saw so many people building up those skills of clicking on the right wide receiver and pulling them back, these big bodied receivers. And I think DK is trying to set up a good Madden 23 offense.
Yeah, that's fair. That is definitely fair. Run the ball and throw up jump balls. That could work out pretty well with any quarterback. So we'll see how he does with that. Pick 28, Kansas City Chiefs. Timbo, his first selection of this draft. Couple position needs for him as well. I don't know if there's any wide receivers left. Maybe not any first round guys, but he has other needs too, man.
He does, and there's a couple of guys I really like here for Kansas City. Maybe defensive tackle Julius Diggs. He was my favorite defensive tackle prospect coming into this class. He could look at some other defensive positions. Still 1 to 2 pretty solid cornerbacks left. We'll see where he goes.
So there's gonna be another tackle. A lot of O-line coming off in this first round. It's going to be left tackle Travis Ross is going to go to Kansas City.
Travis Ross.
I don't know much about him.
Is he a left tackle?
Left tackle.
Let's take a look. Yep. He's got the pass protector archetype. That's always good to see when you have the best passer in the league in Patrick Mahomes, but 6'4", 314 out of Oklahoma. He's got the A pass block. He's got C impact blocking. But, I mean, his combine, he was top 5, top 10 in almost everything.
Maybe Timbo getting in his scouting bag, because that sounds like it could be a steal there. Back at pick 28. Pick 29, Jags had a great run. Came in only 9-8 in those playoffs. We saw Rusty really kind of going a rampage there. Was very close to getting into that Super Bowl matchup. Fell just shy, but has a good pick here to kind of do what he wants. A lot of needs. Wide receivers a big need. Kirk played well, but they have some big holes there. No more Evan Ingram, no tight end. You can see that going. Corners, he was shopping Griffin, so I think he's trying to upgrade or change things there. Safety could be looked at. There's a lot of places these Jags can go.
I'm going to keep bringing up his name until he's drafted. Tight end Malik Pace out of Michigan. He's the 4th ranked guy. I think he is the next best tight end in this class. And I think Rusty and the Jags are in a great spot to upgrade that position now and continue to really sort of maintain that versatile offense.
Yeah, I could see it. Definitely need to kind of upgrade a little bit on the offensive side of ball. Evan Ingram was easily the leading tight end last year. No more Evan Ingram. Actually, I think he did re-sign him, didn't he? I think he re-signed him.
Who, Ingram?
Yeah, he might have re-signed him.
I think he walked, and then I think he let him walk, and then he got him in free agency, if I remember correctly.
So Ingram returns, but maybe not the tight end. But I could see him running a 2 tight end system. He does like to run the ball with Etienne and Robinson. So we'll see where he goes as the timer is stopped, and I forgot to reset it like always.
Classic, dude.
Classic.
I think we start to see the wide receivers slow down a little bit, though. I'd be curious who's drafting these big guys.
Interesting. See Timbo saying private workout was too active. DK saying that was the other pick he wanted. Ross seemed to be one of those sleeper kind of picks there that people were looking at. If they were looking at that tackle position, maybe. Interesting. Good pick there possibly for Timbo. We'll have to see when we send this thing finally.
I'm excited to see it all. I really am.
That's the only thing that stinks about this. We don't have no idea who's going to go where and what they're going to look like. But the pick is in for Rusty, and I'm going to remember to start my timer here, but it's going to be defensive tackle Julius Diggs.
I like it, man.
Yeah.
Diggs. When I was originally picked 13 and 24, I thought about taking Diggs at 13. I just think he's that good of a prospect. Oregon State guy, 6'5", 304. He is going to be an imposing force against offensive lines across the league.
Yeah, I like the Diggs pick too. Definitely a position of need. They got ran on they got ran on a lot in the playoffs. They were able to kind of overcome it with their secondary and their pass rush, but the interior defensive line for them was a place of extreme weakness for them in the playoffs. So I like that pick to kind of go out and upgrade that position with Julius Diggs. Pick 30, Taco, back on the clock again. His third first round selection. Where do you think he goes now?
I have no idea. Taco's one of the hardest people to predict for because he just does wacky stuff, that Taco character. Maybe he goes nose tackle again. I think Ed Winston's still on the board. Enrique Byers is also a very interesting prospect. Maybe he goes offense again. I know he took that wide receiver. That was a little surprising. Ooh, he could go Jeremy.
Right now.
He could go Jeremy Roberts. This could be the time we see our next quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, Taco did well with Brady. Brady kind of was, great fit for him, even though he probably won't admit to it because he hates Brady in real life. But I don't know. I think if he doesn't go quarterback here, he might regret it unless Roberts is a bust, which I don't know. I don't have him scouted, but I think it might be a good spot at pick 30 late in the first round. It's not the worst thing to kind of take a flyer on a quarterback if you like him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes there.
Does Taco like him though? That's the big question.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nobody knows. Taco is a wild card with that kind of stuff. So let's see here. Only 3 more selections in this draft. You got Tampa Bay, Cincy with another pick for them, and then yours truly to round out this draft night.
Yes, sir. So how are we, once we wrap up the first round, are we going to keep the stream live and just have the updating spreadsheet, or what are we doing there?
Not here, not on the network. I don't know if Hoff wants to put his up, but I mean, everybody has, if you look at announcements, you can see who's been picked. This Excel sheet is available to everybody to just look at. So you can kind of look at it and see who's available there. It has all the prospects listed and who's projected where, so you can kind of go off of that. So just make sure you go to announcements. I think it's when was it posted? A few days ago, but you'll be able to see it's like the first one. Okay, it was posted yesterday at 10:56. He put it there, so click on that
Tacos. You see what Taco said in the chat? He said, I was going to take someone else, but y'all convinced me. Might be seeing
here we
quarterback.
Go. Yes, we are. It's going to be Jeremy Roberts. The third quarterback in the first round is going to Tampa Bay.
I like it. I think DeAndre Austin, the next best prospect, is a little bit undersized for the position. I think Jeremy Roberts can be a really solid starter for you, and I guarantee he's probably going to be better than Kyle Trask.
Yeah, Kyle Trask is a tough build. Hopefully Roberts is just better than him. I know, it's something that Taco can definitely work around. He's worked around quarterbacks who were subpar before, to at least be relevant with them. So I definitely can see him still doing that. He picked a wide receiver too, so hopefully he's going to get that Morse Roberts connection going early and often.
He said probably going to regret this, but oh well.
Yeah, well, we have no idea. Maybe it's a bust, maybe not. That's the only that stinks about it.
It's too soon.
Everybody can get excited about these picks before we know what they look like. So everybody can be like, "Oh, this is the greatest draft I've ever had," but you have no idea until we send this thing. So, anyway, next pick is on the clock here. Let's see, and it is in. We're gonna try and wrap this thing up. It's gonna be the first safety. Keyshawn Downing is gonna go to the Bengals.
Downing is going to get taken here.
Yep.
That is the best, that is the second highest ranked free safety in Keyshawn Downing over LaMichael Simmons. Very interesting. I do like Downing's size though for free safety a little bit more.
That's fair. Yeah, I like Downing's size a little bit more too. Hopefully that kind of keeps that room going there. No Bates anymore. He goes and gets a first round rookie. So let's see how Downing looks in a few days. But on to my pick. More importantly, no, I'm just kidding. So this might be a reach for me, but okay. I really like his stature, his age, his size, and I he's got a decent 40, decent everything else. I'm gonna take the last pick in the first round. Cornerback Monty Reese out of FAU, Fort Atlantic.
Okay, so I actually have Reese. Where do I have him ranked? I remember bringing him. Yeah, I had him ranked just behind Dane at number 6. I think Reese has a potential to be one of those physical type of cornerbacks. And I just like the 6'3" cornerbacks this draft. What can I say, taking Callaway myself?
Yeah, I liked his 40. His speed is something that might be something left desired, but I just, we have speed on corner still, and Slay's getting older. Maddox
Yeah.
is good, but he's not going to be that number one guy for you. He's just a little bit too old now to do that. A little bit too small, and I think if you get this guy behind both of them, and really kind of develop him, maybe be our Bradbury guy. We'll see. But we definitely need somebody big out there on the outside, because that's a position we got routinely kind of bodied throughout the season. So hopefully he can kind of come in and be something good for us. A little bit of a flyer, though. He is a 2 to 3 round projected cornerback. So I guess we'll see in a few days what he looks like. But that is going to conclude the first round. Payne, before we head out of here, this draft is going to keep going. Keep an eye on your DM. Keep an eye on the Excel sheet and all that. But before we get out of here, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'm just glad that the community is so ready to adapt to the struggles and hardships of this year's cycle. But here we are, man. This is such an exciting first round. Sure, we didn't have the highlights, but we got Kylo pulling the string, so it's always going to be gas coming down the pipes. But I'm very excited to get into this season, and good luck to everybody in the remainder of this draft.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And with that, we are out of here. Everybody have a good night. Keep an eye on everything going on with the draft. Hopefully we can get through this thing and get on to our MSR 38 season. But with that, we are gone. Have a good night.
Deuces.